So, alright people, let's look at two approaches to calculate gross domestic product. On the left, we have the expenses approach. On the right, we have the income approach. And as you can see, GDP measured using the expenses approach is equal to the GDP measured using the income approach. And next couple of slides, we have the components of expenditure approach. So basically, when you look at GDP from the expenditure approach, it's going to be consumption, investment, government expenses. After that, we have net exports. That means exports minus imports. Bunch of problems is asked. They're asking us to calculate the components of gross domestic product. So I have the examples put forward here. What comes under personal consumption expenses? We have durable goods that lasts for 3 years or more, non-durable goods that lasts for less than 3 years. Also, services are included in the consumption part of expenditure approach. Now, if I look at the next slide here, I'm going to see the gross investment. Examples are new machinery, new equipments, new tools. Let me explain what is net investment. Gross investment is included in the GDP approach, not net investment. Okay, example of gross investment is you buying a new car for $20,000. You are buying it in 2020. After that, you are accumulating some miles on your cars, and that is basically the depreciation, and the value of your car is lost because you accumulated miles worth $5,000. The net investment will be $15,000. That is gross investment minus the depreciation. Then we have government purchases. It includes everything except transfer payments. As for example, we talked in the last slide, it's excluding social security, it's excluding unemployment allowances, and it's also excluding pension payments. That means these are transfer payments and nothing productive is being produced from this. Next, we have net exports. We are subtracting imports from exports. We add up all of this and we get the GDP from the expenditure approach. Now, if I look at the next slide here, we calculated data from the US economy from 2015. This part is gross domestic product from the expenditure approach. That means I'm adding up. What am I adding up here? Consumption, then I'm adding up investment, then I'm adding up government expenses. After that, I'm adding up net exports. And this one is the GDP from the income approach. You don't really have to remember all these formulas here. I just want you to understand no matter which approach we are using to calculate gross domestic product, we will have the same value after we make some statistical adjustments. That's all about the components of gross domestic product and two ways of measuring gross domestic product.